already started.
We're very excited to have a large group of students here with us at 1 Million Cups Madison. For those of you who don't know, 1 Million Cups is a weekly get-together every Wednesday for entrepreneurs to come present their ideas to the public. We always end presentations with an ask of what can you, the community, help this entrepreneur do. So that's a really important part of our programming. So keep that in mind when Loon presents today. If you guys have questions, please ask them, and then they're going to help us help them with their future endeavors. So we're really excited about that. We want to thank our sponsors, as always, every week, American Family Insurance Dream Bank, as well as the Stork Building. So we are fortunate enough to meet here all the time with coffee and connect with one another. So I don't think we're going to do introductions. Typically what we do is we introduce everyone in the room, but that would take far too long. The point of that is just so that the entrepreneur in the presentation knows who they're talking to, which is a very crucial part of this as well. But we won't do that. We'll introduce us.
Yeah, so why don't you start?
Yeah, so we are the organizers of 1 Million Cups. My name is Julianne Selesky. In my day job, I'm actually a wedding planner, so nothing to do with entrepreneurial or the tech scene, but I am very passionate about Madison as a whole and really embracing this community, so I come and help out sometimes when I can. So
yeah, my name is Diana Pastrana. I'm the lead organizer of 1 Million Cups, but I also have a day job. I work in office interiors, commercial interior design.
My name is Joey Frayne. I'm a technology investment manager with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. So manage a few programs that assist high-tech startups in the state of Wisconsin.
And I'm Josh Helling. I'm an entrepreneur. My background's in software product development, and I work with startups and growing companies on technology and product strategy.
So we have a very diverse team of organizers here. But yeah.
Can we just have anybody who is an entrepreneur stand up quickly, give a parade wave? So guys, at the end of the thing, if you have questions on entrepreneurship, if you want to connect with somebody who's living the dream, anybody just stood up. Yeah, that's
what we're going to come.
And finally, we also want to thank Field 59. Yes, didn't forget about you.
I'm sorry, Derek.
Derek, he live streams the events. So if you guys want to come through and look at previous presentations of 1 Million Cups, or you want to reference back to this presentation today, that is on YouTube, Facebook, a couple places.
Right, we're not live streaming today, but
Yeah.
we will start live streaming from here, so you can check out any of these, and we'll have recordings on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, so and technically now I'm a organizer as well, along with Catherine, who's not here, but Catherine's an organizer for social media. So make sure to check out our Twitter feed and all forms of social media, and we'll be getting more regular in our newsletters.
And last but not least, you guys are all high schoolers, correct? Perfect. So when you guys go off to college someday, if that's what you decide to do, just know that 1 Million Cups is nationwide. So even if you go to Kansas City or if you go to Indianapolis, you can always find a 1 Million Cups. It's always every Wednesday, so don't feel like
support group for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. That's all we do is support entrepreneurs and make sure that they have the platform. So we will get started. We're very excited for our guests today. They have recently won, I feel like, every single entrepreneurial award that they can. So they've presented before, but we're excited to hear a playback and see what they've been doing over the last 4 to 6 months. So please put your hands together for Loon.
Hi everyone, can you guys hear me in the back, Will? Okay, my name is Max Fergus. I'm the CEO of Live Undiscovered Music, or Loon, and we're a new music discovery and streaming application that's actually built on a social network. Just like we were kind of talking about with the entrepreneurs in the room, we have a number of our team as well in the back. And so if you guys have questions or want to talk after it all, definitely let us know. We're going to stick around and answer a few questions. So like they were saying, we actually presented at 1 Million Cups about 4 months ago. When we were presenting at 1 Million Cups back then, I was still planning on going to another job after I graduated school. We didn't have a product, and really all we had was an idea. And we've come pretty far since then, and I'm excited to kind of walk you guys through what we do and kind of how we got there. So music streaming was originally created as an alternative to the radio. It gave emerging artists the chance to decrease the disparity between corporate music and their music by giving their fans kind of the choice to decide what we all wanted to hear instead of just having to listen to the same things on the radio every day, right? But unfortunately, over time, streaming became quite similar to the radio, in the sense that artists backed by big corporations and record labels and current streaming platforms kind of push us the same music that we're already hearing, right? How many times have you listened to God's Plan by Drake in the last like 6 months? It's like every day. And so we noticed that 99% of all music streaming is only of the top 10% of the most mainstream corporate songs, meaning that less than 1% of all artists make any material income off of streaming their music. Yet the industry itself is growing rapidly at 60% year over year. It's one of the fastest growing industries, but companies like Spotify and Pandora and Apple Music and SoundCloud are all doing really poorly financially because they focus on the same corporate and mainstream music that requires the highest royalty and licensing payments. So for Loon, we set out to not only fix the financial problems in the industry, but we want to go and help as many emerging artists as possible and as many lean-in music lovers as we can. So Loon is a music streaming and discovery platform that is built on a social network. Like we talked about, we focus exclusively on emerging artists to give them a platform to advocate for themselves by building their fan base in a fun way that doesn't really exist right now. And to do this, we kind of studied like trends in high school and college and decided to kind of gamify social music discovery by allowing people to kind of tag their friends in music and rank music and engage with their peers and friends. We not only increase the user experience and the social element, but it allows us to circulate as much emerging music as possible. This allows us to create a digital talent pool, which is really what Loon is all about. A digital talent pool for live entertainment, record labels, and artist management companies around the world by allowing us to see the early developments and trends in music, like songs and genres and artists in specific geographic regions, by letting fans control the direction of music for the first time instead of telling people what to listen to, like on other platforms like Spotify or Apple Music. And when looking at the business model of how our platform works, we have to realize that the streaming industry itself has never had a problem making revenue. They have a really big problem limiting cost. Because Loon uses music streaming as a means to an end to get artists into other areas of the industry, we don't worry about paying expensive royalty and licensing payments. And from there, we replace subscription model revenue with gamification and data and analytics. I'm sure a number of you know what Twitch is. If you know what Fortnite is, there's a really good chance, yeah. Well, Amazon has changed the way that we think about gamification with Twitch, a platform that lets users cheer on their favorite esports gamers by kind of supporting them while they watch them play like these favorite esports. Well, we feel that model is even more applicable to music, as Loon lets fans and artists kind of cheer and highlight and boost their favorite artists in their local area and around the globe. It helps circulate more emerging music and get these artists larger fan bases while allowing us to collect it as revenue. And from there, like I said, we let fans control the direction of music for the first time, meaning that we collect a lot of really, really great data and analytics that we can leverage against record labels and artist management companies and talent buyers so that they can go out and see who's going to be the next big artist long before anybody else can actually see. And finally, how much do we all hate annoying audio advertising that we currently hear on SoundCloud and Spotify? Loon gets rid of all of that because we're built on a social network, and we can replace that annoying audio advertising that plagues current streaming platforms with targeted social media advertising that again increases the user experience. And while Loon has a lot of these revenue generating objectives, we're not worried about them right away. We're worried about getting all of you guys on Loon and getting a large user base, because that's where we believe we create inherent value before worrying about revenue down the road. And we feel like we've done a good job of putting ourselves in a position for success. So we actually just closed a couple days ago on our first round of about $500,000 that we raised largely in Madison from angel investors. And we launched about 1 month ago. And since we've launched, it's been a pretty wild ride. We've got featured in a lot of magazines, papers. We won our local Madison pitch competition, Pressure Chamber, and now we actually have a lot coming up for us. In about 2 hours, I'm hopping on a plane and flying out to LA to go meet with Live Nation, who runs basically every major music festival in the US, to try to get them to invest in us, as well as meet with Techstars, an accelerator program, and I believe you guys might be talking with Generator or G-Beta today, but very similar to that, but specific for music in LA. And now, where we are right now is we're actually raising our next round. We're raising $1 million so that we can further and build out our team and continue to grow and scale. And with that being said, we plan to have over 200,000 users by the end of next year by focusing on user acquisition streams that are both really low in cost, but really high in kind of the network effect, right? And some of that virality coefficient that you sometimes hear about. And like we said, the market is inherently high, very high. You just saw SiriusXM buy Pandora yesterday. Not only has Spotify bought 10 companies, over 10 companies in the last 4 years, but now you're starting to see YouTube and Amazon trying to compete with Spotify for that top 1% of really mainstream and corporate music catalogs, while Loon kind of goes downstream and focuses on the other 99% of users, right? The emerging artists, as well as kind of that next generation of fans. So Loon was actually created by UW-Madison students and alumni almost exclusively. But we wanted to go out and find people that could help us validate our business model and kind of help us execute on our go-to-market strategy. We engaged with Gary Greenstein, who works for WSGR, a legal firm out in Washington, and he's the sole representative for Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Bandcamp, and he agreed to represent Loon in Madison because he really liked what we were doing. Also, our lead business advisor, Randall Mays, was the CFO and president for Clear Channel Communications, which is iHeartRadio, for over 20 years, and is one of the longest tenured board members of Live Nation. So my last big takeaway, and what I want to talk about, is just really to get involved. And I wanted to talk to you guys all about, because you're here today. And I don't just mean with Loon, but I mean in general. A lot of you guys are making decisions on either where to go to school or kind of what to do. And we just talked about this before. 4 months ago, I was still planning on doing something completely different. And that's why I think it really is really important to take the time and figure out really what you want to do, what you're passionate about, and just get involved in a number of different things. And now this is the part where I get a little bit more biased, but you should definitely get involved in Loon. We actually started a Loon Leader program that's really awesome for both high school and college students to get more involved in our program as well. If you're interested in music or business or entrepreneurship, there we go. Sign up. It's a really great way to get something on your resume if you're trying to do something before you go to college, or even just to kind of get involved and to get to learn from other entrepreneurs, especially in the Madison area, because we're really involved with everybody that's involved with us. Also, some of you today walked in and saw Yerba Mate. It's a natural tea. They're now our official partners as well. And if you're thinking about going to school, they also have a really great ambassador program that I would highly recommend signing up for if you're interested. Thank you.
So 1 million cups, true to tradition, nice and quick. So if there's something that he didn't talk about that you guys want to know, this is your time to ask questions. We will probably have questions for about 15 minutes, and then I'll come back up here and put the kibosh on it, like I like to do. So, go ahead.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on the ads?
Ads? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so advertising isn't a huge part of it. We are very much more focused on like our data, right, and our gamification, right, in-app purchases, similar to like Twitch or Fortnite or stuff like that, right, skins and leveling up. But one part of our company is advertising, right, or at least eventually it will be. But right now, when you go on Spotify or YouTube, especially if you only subscribe to kind of their free platform, every like 4 songs, right, we get hit with an advertisement on like in between songs, audio advertisements. Well, for Loon, we built our entire platform for the first time on a true social network, right, with feeds where you can tag your friends and you're scrolling and seeing pictures of concerts or other music that people are listening to add to your library. And so because of that, we can have companies like lifestyle brands or clothing brands or even like alcohol companies or companies like Yerba Mate advertise on our social media so that it never actually interrupts you actually listening to music. And so that's what we plan to do more with the advertising, because we feel it increases the user experience compared to some audio advertising that kind of currently drowns out the other music on the platforms.
So it'd be image ads alone?
What'd you say?
Image ads alone?
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
It's all live, all the recordings?
No, so it's actually all like streaming platforms. So it's very similar to one of the ways that we like to explain it kind of is, imagine if you had your entire Spotify, but it was integrated into something like Instagram. So you can actually like share a song and tag your friend in it. Some of the recordings are live, but most of them are actually just like streamed songs that people make in recording studios or mix and masters or DJs and things like that. Yeah?
So is this only available for apps in the Apple App Store? Or are you planning to make it in?
Yep, so it launched 1 month ago in the App Store. We actually already have over 5,000 users, and we really haven't spent very much or very much capital on promotion or marketing yet. So that's really exciting for us because it means we're growing at a good pace while we focus on kind of our product. But it will be available in Android and on the web platform in the not so distant future as well.
Do you put your own ads up? Like, could you pay for your music to be put up as an ad on your website?
So, no, not right now. The goal eventually is so that artists can put their music on Loon, and then they're using their fans and communities as a catalyst for their own growth, right? You're having your fans and your friends share your music, build your fan base so that you can get leverage and build a large enough fan base to kind of get involved into live entertainment or prove that you can kind of make it on maybe other streaming platforms in the distant future. And so that's as much of like the self-promotion, I guess, as you would see. But we don't necessarily let people like pay to promote their music in any special way, at least not right now. Yep. Can you say that one more time? Sorry, it's a little bit.
Make revenue in the future without relying on raising capital.
Yeah, so I can go back to this slide a little bit that we talked about. One of the ways we're really excited about making revenue is kind of by gamifying the experience of our app, right? So what Twitch does right now with Amazon is they let users come on and you're basically watching esports gamers, right? You can earn, they call them bits, by watching advertisements, engaging with the platform, but they can also buy bits, right? And then you use those bits to get skins for your profiles or donate and kind of cheer on your favorite esports gamers. So that's what we want to do with Loon, right? We want to let people engage with the platform and earn tokens and then eventually turn it around and cheer and kind of boost on their favorite artists. When a user kind of cheers on their favorite artist, it circulates their music, they get more plays, they grow their fan base. It has a quantitative effect for the artist and really helps them kind of potentially take that next step in their career and really show some great gratification. And it allows us to collect a lot of that as a revenue because we're kind of creating a similar to like a kind of an e-currency almost. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Max, I'm curious, like, how big does this audience of people looking for undiscovered music need to be for you guys to be as successful as you want to be? Or is that a key assumption of your business, that there is a volume of people out there that want more than corporate music?
Yeah. So I guess there's two parts to that question a little bit. And the first part is like, how many people are actually lean-in music lovers, right? Because when I told my parents about this, my mom was like, well, I just want to throw on the Coffee House channel on Spotify and just kind of let it play, right? I was like, oh, Mom, you're killing me. The truth is that every generation of people between the ages of 14 and 25, for as long back as we can remember, was a lean-in music lover. Before your music tastes really develop as you kind of get older, a lot of people are lean-in music lovers. This isn't the first generation of people between the ages of 14 and 5 that want to go out and discover new music. This is just the way they want it right now in this generation. And going back to your second part, is there a quantifiable amount, right? For example, right, we're raising $1 million right now, and raising $1 million with only 5,000 users potentially could seem like that we're very early in the stage to do that, but we're truly preparing for scale. And to be honest with you, we're very similar in terms of our numbers and on track to a lot of other platforms that have kind of been around and doing the same thing. But to be honest with you, there's not like we get 100,000 users and then we can start doing the Twitch model, right? We get 1 million users and we can start making, more than 6 figures on advertising. There really isn't those numbers. There's a lot of great comparables that you can kind of go off of. But in the end, people would be surprised as to how much there really isn't necessarily a quantitative recipe for success when it comes to the volume and growth of an app in terms of its people. Yeah.
But playing off that, I'm just really curious about your end game, because you've already closed on one round. You've given yourself over a year of runway.
Yeah.
I'm making an assumption that you don't see yourself as being sustainably profitable at the end of that runway. So you're already raising again. So are you trying to go big and sell?
I would be lying if I didn't think that Loon's endgame was a strategic M&A scenario, basically us being acquired. The truth is that a lot of people think that we're trying to compete with Spotify, right? We're trying to compete with Spotify or Apple Music or Pandora, but we're really not. What we're trying to do is appeal to a different group of artists that aren't going to be successful on these platforms, these emerging artists, as well as kind of this next generation, you guys, the next wave of music lovers, by creating kind of inherent value by getting that user base, and then eventually getting purchased potentially by one of these larger platforms, but then using it as almost a graduation platform, right? One of the biggest problems right now is that these current platforms have a problem limiting cost. Well, Loon can fix that problem while allowing another potential larger parent company to come in and really, really grow and appeal to a new user base, right? Facebook was having a really hard time kind of appealing to that younger generation, so they bought Instagram. Not in the same way that works, but we see Loon as a graduation platform where artists can go out, get the fan base that they need and the leverage they need to succeed in the areas that matter to them most. So maybe one day they can go leave Loon and go on Apple Music and go on Spotify, because now they've kind of earned that fan base to go make a livable income, not just off live entertainment or record labels, but also off of potentially streaming their music. Yeah.
Now let's say you go and they do give you $1 million. Will it be under their terms and conditions?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. So the first way that we raised our round was called a convertible note. It's kind of a mix between debt and equity, and essentially it turns into equity when we raise this next round. So going back to your point though, we're going out raising $1 million right now. It's actually going to be kind of a negotiation, right? Everything is a negotiation, especially when you're financing your company. And so we have specific terms that we're hoping to get out of it. But depending on who we partner with, or if Live Nation ends up investing with us, maybe I lower the valuation a little bit, right? Because it give them a little bit more equity because they're a great strategic partner for us. But everything is a negotiation, and so it's not necessarily our terms or their terms. It's kind of just going to play out, and it'll go back and forth a little bit depending on what we see in the market. Yeah.
So right now this app is more of like a promotional service for artists. In the future, do you see artists being paid or like selling their music on the app?
Yeah, I think that in the future what we would really, really like to see is in the same sense that Twitch lets some of the revenue that people go from cheering and boosting on, it actually goes into the pockets of the esports gamers. I think that's what we would also like to do as well. Not only allow Loon to collect it as revenue, and not only allow those boosting and highlighting spread the music more so that they get more plays, but eventually also do some kind of revenue sharing, because that really ends up being the end game and ties all of it in together a little bit. But going back to your other point about this is currently kind of a promotional platform, it's really just kind of a platform that is a promotional tool for artists, but it's for everybody, right? We're really excited to be incorporating fans and artists. You can have a full streaming library just like you can on SoundCloud or Spotify on Loon, but now for the first time ever you can actually tag your friends in a song, share it with them, instead of having to send it through Snapchat or get in a big group text and do it that way as well. Any more questions? Yeah.
How many angel investors do you have?
A lot.
Can you put a number on that?
Yeah. I mean, we have people that invested over $100,000 until. But part of the reason we did a convertible note is because we wanted to allow our friends and family to invest in Loon as well. And so they take up a large chunk of that as well. Not more than half. But to be honest with you, we have probably over 20 investors that went into our convertible note round.
How much do you own of your company? Or
100% of it. That's the best part of a kind of a convertible note, right? Technically right now, because when you raise a convertible note, it's originally considered debt, right? And this is more of a finance lesson. Because when you, like, let's say we would have raised $500,000 and we said, hey, we'll give you 50% of our company for that, right? We would have technically been valuing our company at $1 million, right? Because we raised $500,000 and gave away half of it. So we're saying the value of our company is $1 million, but we didn't want to do that right now because, of course, we want to feel like our company is worth a lot more than that. And so the truth is that right now we own all of it, but for people's risk of investing a little earlier, they get a lot of perks kind of from that, right? They accrue interest. They get to enter into our next round at a much lower valuation, meaning that they're going to end up getting more equity than necessarily the people that invest in us kind of for the $1 million round, if that makes any sense. Yeah?
So since you've launched, what's been the biggest surprise, the biggest problem you've had to overcome? What's kind of taken you off balance?
That's a really good question. And I think that there's a couple different answers to it because, as always, nothing goes as planned. The biggest thing for us is that when we launched, we were like, you know what, we're creating a social network, right? Let's go talk to every senior in high school and freshman in college and get them to go do a bunch of stuff on Loon like they do on Instagram, or they do on all that stuff. But the truth is that the people that have been the best on Lumen and have engaged the most and have truly been passionate about it and absolutely loved it are the ones that are just the music lovers, right? Get rid of the age demographics and some of the constraints and trying to force Loom onto certain groups of people, and let people that are true lean-in music lovers go out and connect with their friends and share music and do all of that together. And so I think the biggest lesson for us has been, don't worry about trying to figure out what the target market of the app is right away. Go out and explore and find different groups of people that are interested in music discovery and want to be supportive of kind of a supportive new music community, and go to appeal to those people because they're the ones that are helping Loon grow as fast as we are. Not necessarily every single freshman in college or every senior in high school. It's the ones that want to be there that we need to start working to, and it's just more focusing on the music-oriented target necessarily than just everybody as a whole. That was a good question. Yeah?
How would you get involved in something like this?
Say that one more time?
How would somebody be able to get involved in something like Loon?
Probably a good question because I should have brought it up before. You can, so we have our mobile application, right? But we also have a website, liveundiscoveredmusic.com. And on there's actually an application to apply to be a Loon leader, basically a brand ambassador for Loon, right? You get to be featured on our website, and we get everybody really involved, and you spread the word around your school, do events, we come in and help out. And so that's really the best way. Also, my email address is on the bottom of here, and please, if anybody has any questions, feel more... Okay, maybe we went too far. We'll get it, hold on, I hate the screen. Okay, long story short, it's max.fergus@liveundiscoveredmusic.com. But really, you can go on our website and apply there. We also have like an info@liveundiscoveredmusic.com you can email. But yeah, we do want to see everybody getting involved, right? Getting involved, especially in high school, is really important. It does allow you to put things on your resume. It allows you to do a lot more with your college applications, and not even with Loon, but I do highly recommend doing a number of things and then figuring out what you're passionate about. But Loon is a really exciting way to do that as well.
All right, we're going to cut it there. I think also moral of the story is take some finance and math classes if you want to be an entrepreneur. Thank you guys so much. Again, entrepreneurs in the room, please stick around if you can to answer any of their questions, but we're really happy that you guys came. Also, I think a good ask would be, if you're interested, download the app.
Yeah, definitely
be a good ask
download the app, connect with your friends.
But other than that, thank you. More coffee. If there's more tea, can they grab it on the way out?
If there's some left, yep, looks like there is. And if you see anybody in a Loom shirt, go ahead and feel free to talk to them as well. We'll stick around for a while.
Just kidding, you guys aren't leaving. We're gonna continue with just the students, so if everybody else wants to move on with their day, that's cool. But the students are going to be here for a little bit longer. Max, if you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.